And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bubba and the Bloom, episode 237, coming at you on a Thursday evening. That means it is FAAB preview time, week 6 FAAB preview coming your way to get you ready for another week of fantasy baseball action. But before we get to that, you can follow me on Twitter at BDintric, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, and on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at RyanBHQ. Ryan Bloomfield, how we doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good tonight, my friend. How are you doing, Bubba?
We're doing well. It's been a long week, a long day, but we are here on a
You've
Thursday.
been up to more than me. You've been up to more than me
Yeah,
in real
been busy.
life. So, yeah,
Been busy, but it's his life, and that's the way it goes. But as we always say, no matter how tired we are on a Thursday, we get up for the show because it's what we love to do. And I am pumped to talk some fantasy baseball here for the good folks that listen to the show and support the crew. So doing well, all things considered.
Plus, you did a little. What did you stream the entire Giants game last night? Was that a 3-hour playback?
We were there for a little over 3 hours. We didn't stick to just the Giants. It was a pitching duel. We started hopping around everywhere. We saw Nick Kurt's first like 3 at bats. We were watching the kind of slugfest between the Rays and the D-backs. It was really cool because I had the big inning. The 4 games were on my TV, so I could see what was going on, and then I'd flip over on playback to keep us up to date on the kind of happenings.
That's actually pretty smart because when I was doing it, I was like, I don't know. I can pull up the scores. I don't know what's going on in the other games. That's pretty.
So we were hopping around. We were hopping around, enjoying that, and had a blast. Like it's just the playback. It has not disappointed so far. It's been a lot of fun. Mason hopped in for about 15 minutes. Came and chatted for a bit before he had to duck out, which I appreciated him stopping by.
Give you a little breather.
Yeah, no, we just talked about different things. Talked about hopefully meeting up for a ball game. It's just, the beauty of playback is really no structure. Let's just hang out, talk. People get to kind of see us kind of behind the curtains was more than anything. And there's like some people asked questions about me on different, I can't remember what they were now, but just stuff they didn't know about me.
Like favorite color?
All PG, of course.
Never mind.
Yeah, but yeah, you just keep it together. We're not even 5 minutes into the show yet. But yeah. Tons of fun, tons of good stuff there, and we did finish with the very last thing we did is watch Walker almost blow it, and Duvall got the save, and I signed off. So, yeah,
little Bubba on tilt to close it out.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Gonna try. This is no promise, but right now my schedule is clear. If it stays clear, I'm gonna jump on Friday night and do another game. Hopefully a little earlier for the East Coasters. We'll see, but. Might be more of a late one, just like in case if I want to have dinner with my daughter, maybe we'll see. But we'll play all that one out by ear as it goes. And then looks like I should definitely be in for next Wednesday because I'll have an opening like I did this past week. And again, though, that's going to be a West Coast game. There's like 4 or 5 West Coast games that night too, so we can hop around. Which is it's kind of like MLB Red Zone is what it turned into. It was pretty fun, all things considered.
I could probably do Wednesday myself. Not doing
with your schedule, you'll be on the reverse next week. So that could work.
Yeah. It is tough. I mean, I will. It's not advisable for either of us to stream while we're working. So for the East Coast crowd, it's difficult during the week to get on there early. But I don't know. We'll figure some stuff out.
Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, we'll keep those coming your way. And thanks for hopping in. Anybody that wants to hop in and chat it up, and we'll see where it goes. But. I was gonna part of the reason why Friday might be later is looking at the schedule. There's like 7 Eastern games. They all kind of suck. The good games are all on the West Coast at night. There's a ton of West Coast games, and I'm just like, I'd rather maybe get settled in for the evening, and we'll watch a game on Friday night. So we'll see where it goes. All right, you got anything else? You want to get some news and notes going before we talk FAAB?
Let's do it, man. Let us do it.
All right, let's hop along here. No. We got one more thing to talk about.
What do we got?
You released something new to the Patreon.
Oh, I did. The live Bloom boards are live, which is kind of weird to say, but just released our third, I think, final. Unless I can figure out some FAAB stuff. In-season tool to the Patreon. Live Bloom boards. I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a while. Basically, it is like Bloom boards on steroids. They're updated every single day. Kind of a template of a bunch of different boards, hitters, pitchers, year to date, last 30 days, team level stuff. Did a tutorial for it, posted to the Patreon. So just kind of went through every single board that I've kind of got pre-built, and we'll talk through that, why I use it, why I think it's important, that sort of thing. Kind of teased it out on Twitter on Wednesday. So you can kind of see a screenshot of those. But yeah, just another way for us to hopefully provide value for a Patreon sub. Show you guys that we support what you guys do for us. So the live bloom boards, I think, people have really kind of eaten them up. So I have enjoyed seeing that as well. So check it out. If you are on the Patreon, there is a video posted on the site, and you should have access to the Google Sheet. So hit me up if any questions about that or about the boards, whatever. Happy to work with you on it.
Yep. Get checking it out. It's an awesome one. There was a shout out for you in the playback last night. It was Tommy D was going through it was checking it out while we were watching some games, and dude, he had glowing remarks, and I basically echoed like I kind of let them behind the curtain again. That was the thing that we used like for 2 different episodes last year. Like I think the first of each month towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of got your feet wet with that, trying to figure it out. And it's as I told him, as the season goes on, it gets even better because you get bigger samples to kind of really figure things out, and then the last 30-day windows and all that kind of stuff. So it's
I think really our Tuesday show we will we'll just kind of run through some of it, maybe just for the hitters.
We'll have about a month.
We'll figure it out.
We'll have a month of data by then too.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Yep.
All right. News and notes. Couple things here. Blake Snell has been shut down from throwing. He's going to get more imaging done, as he tried to play catch the other day, and the shoulder said, not up in here. So Blake Snell shut down till further notice. Ryan,
very concerning, right? Like that sucks. Nothing you can really do about it. I guess you're still holding Blake Snell as long as you possibly can until we at least get a little bit more word. But at some point, you're gonna have to think about moving on if it's an extended absence. I think did you compare Blake Snell to Grayson Rodriguez? Did I see that or hear that somewhere on one of your shows or in Discord on like who you'd rather hold?
Oh yes, that was on Breakfast with Bubba this morning.
See, I listen. There we go.
Actually,
it was on Breakfast with Bubba.
No. I compared Shane McClanahan to Grayson Rodriguez, and who?
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
I said I'd rather hold Shane.
Well, that's good. So okay. So let's throw Snell into that. Snell, McClanahan. Knowing what we know, Thursday evening, April 24th, 2025. Who are you most confident in delivering value this season? Grayson, Shane McClanahan, or Blake Snell?
McClanahan, and I don't feel great about any of them, honestly.
Yeah.
But out of the three, at least McClanahan, they kind of shut down. They know the injury. There hasn't been a setback yet, given he's just going to start throwing this week. So he hasn't had a chance really for a setback, if that makes sense. Where Grayson just continues to have like another setback. And now Blake's like, I don't think Grayson throws again this year. Like they keep saying he's going to. I don't think we see much Grayson. And honestly, I think Blake's kind of cooked for a while too. I think Shane's the first one back out of the three, if that makes sense. That's still not till June.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news, the only good news we kind of get out of this is potentially more Bobby Miller in our life. Dodgers rotation.
Smoke him if you got him, baby. Smoke him if you got him. Yeah. If there's more Bobby Miller in our life, I might have to like start finding ways to stream while at work if there's day games in the Dodgers because that's the best thing since
take PTO for Bobby Miller's boss. I'm taking vacation. Bobby Miller's pitching.
Boss, I have a hangover. Bubba, it's 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm gonna start drinking at 11 for Bobby Miller's start. I'll be hungover by 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you'll be a full-time podcaster shortly after that.
Yes, broken full-time podcasting. Yep, here we are. All right, so that sums up our Grayson Rodriguez news as well as he has remember he got shut down. He's getting a second opinion, and that second opinion came back with a right lat strain, so he's shut down for 2 more weeks before we're getting reevaluated. So he was shut down, and then before he threw bullpen, hurt, shut down again. And so we'll see where this goes in like 2 weeks. That's why, like, out of all of them, I think Grayson's the one I'm most worried about out of the whole cha-cha.
Yeah.
And who knows? Like, none of us are doctors. But my point is, I'm dropping him basically, unless you have multiple IL spots available.
Agreed. We've been saying that for a while now, I think.
Yep. Yeah, we were shocked when we looked the other night, and he's 100% owned still in OCs. So hopefully that changes next time we check it out. Let's put it that way. Kumar Rocker on Thursday landed on the IL with a minor right shoulder impingement. Kumar Rocker was a big topic of conversation on the playback as we watched his first inning and 2/3 that he threw on Wednesday evening.
Ouch.
And it kind of piggybacked off the conversation we had on Tuesday night, Ryan, about the pitch mix. He basically, at best, is a 2-pitch pitcher. Watching him throw against the A's, he was like a 1.5 pitch pitcher that night. It was bad. And so we were talking about that, just watching the way he was throwing. And there's so many layers to it. And the chat was talking, we were kind of going back and forth. And then to kind of watch it all unfold, like the best thing for him is AAA right now to try to figure things out or go to the bullpen. Now he's got the shoulder impingement. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of bad written all over this.
Yeah, there was some discussion, debate, whatever in our Discord about this too. Like, is it a phantom IL stint? Is it just giving time for Rocker to get his head right? Whatever. I don't know. He's got 3 minor league options. I feel like if they wanted him to pitch out of this and he was still healthy, they just send him down to AAA. But I don't know. We're totally speculating. The Rangers, as you have said previously multiple times, the Rangers pitching depth is about as deep as a puddle in the road. And so it's more, we say more Bobby Miller in our life. We're going to keep having more Patrick Corbin in our life. Gets a 2-step this coming week. I guess Jack Leiter's coming back soon. So that'll be kind of the 1-for-1 swap there. But it's going to be tough times in Ranger land if another injury hits the rotation here.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, I get it's kind of weird. Why would you put a phantom IL thing? I guess the one bright side of it's an IL, he could stay with the big club and work with the big club's pitching staff. Where if he has to go to AAA now, he's with the AAA staff. So that's the only thing I can think of. Now that's just pure speculation. Like,
but I think either way, I think if you have Rocker, I mean,
you're
think
dropping
he's a
him.
drop. I mean, I don't.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's adding nothing to your team unless you're like in a 15 to 20 team AL only league. Like, you have a pulse, but he's probably not even helping you much there either.
The ultimate backhanded advice.
Okay. Sticking with the Rangers, the yearly tradition, unlike any others. No, we're not talking about Augusta, Georgia, everybody. We're talking about Corey Seager on the IL with a soft tissue injury. Here we go again. Hamstring injury for Corey Seager. He's back, baby. It's not an oblique this time. That's always good. It's not a groin this time. It's a hamstring this time. Ryan's face looks like he's confused. But
man.
Corey Seager back to the IL.
Nick Ahmed is on the Rangers.
Oh,
this guy,
I thought
this guy was on like every NL West team last year. Like almost every single one. I think all except for one. Now he's on the Rangers.
He was, yes. Jesus. And the best part is looking at some of the beat reporters. They said it looks like this was before it was official. It looks like Corey Seager's to the IL, and they mentioned like Justin Foscue and like 2 other very good, or at least competent, younger middle infielders. They're like, but Nick Ahmed's in the clubhouse right now.
Hey, my guy's got a glove, man. Former D-backs legend. I
got a glove in my bat bag in the garage too. You want that?
Yeah, you got some T-ball gloves. That works. I mean, Nick Ahmed, joking aside, it is probably more Josh H. Smith time, yes. I guess. So it's kind of the ultimate. This is what Josh Smith does. He just fills in, plugs holes, and will play. He's a right-handed pitching streamer, and that's pretty much it. So, and yeah, huge shocker, Corey Seager.
Yeah, no, it's just a yearly tradition, man. It's like I say it every year. Like, I know the guy can hit. I know he can hit. It's just like he's not Byron Buxton, but he's basically the same type. Okay, we know we're going to get an IL stint. It's just how long is it going to be for and how many times. That's what it comes down to, unfortunately.
Yep.
All right, Willie Castro finally goes to the IL. He missed 8 games with an oblique injury. They put him on the IL. The reports keep saying it's minimal, so who knows how long he's out for. I just want to throw that out there. I have no takes on that at all because that Twins team is dreadful. Like, it is getting worse. Like, Luke Keishel's awesome. Other than that, like Larnick's swinging it. Like, we'll talk about him. Buxton's he's swinging it really well. He's hitting 230, but he's hitting bombs and stealing bases, which is crazy. 5 homers and 5 steals. Yeah. So like we'll talk about them during FAAB because they're usable, but like if you just look at their lineup, it's approaching a steaming pile compared to something else. Let's put it that way.
And they just seem like so snake bit with injuries the last few years, and this season obviously is Royce Lewis starting a rehab assignment, so there is that. But hopefully minimal for our mascot. No candlelight vigil this evening for him. It sounds like he'd be back. Just the fact that they I remember they were talking about. They were like, "Oh well, we think it might almost be 10 days. Would we rather have an extra player or get Willie Castro back a couple days early?" So I whatever. It maybe he'll be back next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it early next week. We'll see where that goes. The other bit of news with the Twins, David Festa to AAA. Kind of as expected, but they made it official on Thursday.
And Pablo Lopez came back, so that was the 1-for-1, right? So we still all wait the Chris Paddock, Woods Richardson demotions at some point. But for now, Festa and Zebby stay in AAA.
A couple more quickies here. Jake Mangum style heads to the IL, and hopefully it's a minimal stint is what they're calling it. He left Tuesday night's game a little coming up limp, kind of lame running the bases, I should say properly. It's a groin strain. Chandler Simpson came in right away and played for him, and he had a line drive single, like literally the slappiest of slap hits I've ever seen, and then runs wild. So it's what we're going to get, I think, with Mangum out.
And that's probably the takeaway, right? It's a little bit more playing time safety for the folks who spent up on Chandler Simpson.
And then just a quick one here. I listed 3 pitchers that their injuries are vague at the moment, very vague at the moment. And I just want to get your kind of like level of concern right now. So Ryan Presley, he hasn't pitched this week. Porter Hodge got the save and made Ohtani look like a little child at the plate with his off-speed pitches. It was amazing. He dominated Ohtani. He got the save because Ryan Presley had his knee drained on Monday. He's having a knee issue, then finds out his knee was drained. The Cubs are hoping to have him back this weekend. Remember, Presley has had knee issues in the past that have made him miss time. Emmanuel Clase was apparently missing playing time because he pitched 3 straight games. Now we find out his shoulder was bugging him after the 3rd outing. And Christopher Sanchez has a forearm injury that doesn't bother him, but something he's never felt before and won't have an MRI. So what's your concern on these 3? You can talk as long or short on them as you want, but I just want to put them together because they're all technically still, quote unquote, on the roster and healthy, but none of them seem healthy.
Yeah, and we'll talk FAAB fallout of each of these guys when we get to the teams. Very concerned about Presley because I don't think he's that good anyway. A little bit less so with Class A, but still, yes, concerned. And Christopher Sanchez, extremely concerned. So I'm concerned about all of them. Maybe a little bit less so Class A, but that's just like a gut feeling. If his shoulder's messed up or even just discomfort, that's obviously not good because, I mean, we talked about this preseason. I mentioned the Jason Collette kind of speculation, bold predictions thing that he has over on RotoWire. And he basically said no one's been able to hold this workload. I forget the exact stat, the workload that Emmanuel Clase has held for like 5 years in a row, something like that. And maybe we are starting to see those years and years on Class A's arm start to pile up. So concerned about all 3, Presley, Class A, and Chris Sanchez.
Yep, I'm with you. So something to definitely monitor over the weekend, everybody. And like Ryan said, we will talk about it in FAAB. All right. Speaking of FAAB, let's get after it, my friend. What do we got to look forward to this week?
Good number of games this week. We've got a bunch of teams with 7 games. Oh God, I screwed that up. Trying to have some professional production here on the pod. Can we see it okay? Yeah, we can see it.
I see it great.
Good number of teams with 7 games, so we like that. Best of all, there is no Patriots Day game. Sorry, Boston fans, but that is a horrendous game. The Chase Mydroth game that I'll call it. God, that was bad. My Mariners play 5 games, and the Padres play 5 games. But other than that, pretty full weekend full week of baseball. I think the theme for FAAB this week, and we'll cover it as we get through, I think it's going to be closer bonanza, relief pitcher bonanza. This might be our biggest closer week that we've had in some time, dating back to last season, if things kind of continue to shake out the way I see them shaking out. So if you need closers, pay attention tonight, but also pay attention over the weekend to see how some of this stuff shakes out.
It's pretty crazy thinking back. Like we talk all off season, and I don't regret it. Like I've done it every year, and I'll keep doing it this way. It's like, yeah, you get your good closers early. Like you want one of this top whatever, and then 2 other top whatever. It's usually kind of our strategy for the most part. And then when I've been doing like FAAB recaps and whatnot, and the first like 2 weeks, the top like 2 or 3 out of the top 5, like in the main events, were all relievers. and then we had a little gap for a couple of weeks. And I'm with you. It's going to be back to relievers, especially a lot of speculating that we're going to talk about. I'd say at least a third of these teams you got specs to make this weekend if you want, which deciding who to bid on and how much will be the fun parts, because someone's going to slide under the radar, and that one can be the one that pays off the most. Like we'll talk about Tinoco, basically, of Miami. Like, this is why some players are good, and I'm gonna give Curlin his flowers right here. He got him for $7 in the main event. He got him for $7 in the main event last week with no runner up. Picked up 2 saves right out the gate. Like, sometimes he's got to take those shots, be willing to drop them, but it could pay off in the long run. And we're going to talk about some of those guys coming up this week. Is kind of the idea here. They're not all going to hit, but you can get some love at the same time.
Yep.
All right, let's get after it. Let's talk about it. Alphabetical order, starting by the AL East. Baltimore Orioles, 6 games this week. 3 at home versus the Yankees, 3 at home versus the Royals, 3 lefties, 3 righties. And that puts a massive damper on situation.
Puts a damper on any kind of platoon situation. I don't have much on the Orioles. It's actually interesting. The Orioles are like one of the worst teams in baseball against lefties. So that's a live Bloomboards kind of thing I just dug up. It's a 47 WRC plus. League average is 100. That 47 is truly awful for the Orioles against left-handed pitching. We saw Mitchell Parker, who does have a sub-2 ERA, carve them up earlier this week. So I think any lefties that face Baltimore, like at least I think Baltimore, and like I get scared, but it's Carlos Rodon, it's Bubic, it's Cole Reagans. Those guys are probably widely rostered, of course, but like I would expect big things from those guys this week.
If Cole Reagans is pitching.
That's true. I should not speak to. Yeah, that's true.
Because I have some Cole Reagan chairs that need to be on the mound. Let's put it that way. So, yeah. Not saying he's a must add by any means, but just keep an eye on like Ryan O'Hearn. We usually say he's a straight up platoon, but he played against the lefty on Thursday. He's played 2 out of the last 4 lefties, so he's not like an automatic sit. So if the matchups are correct in a deeper format, he's actually hitting pretty well to start the season. Just keep him on your radar. He's not an automatic, like, hey, there's like with these 6 games, he probably still plays 4 of them. Let's put it that way. He's not going to sit for 3. So he's going to play 4 or 5 out of the 6, I'd say. Just, something to think about if you're going deeper in a deeper format.
I'll also throw just real quick Brandon Young. I've done this before, but in deeper leagues and 15-teamers, I think he's probably sticking in the rotation for a little while. Gets Detroit his next start that he's lined up for. I think in 15-teamers, you should at least look at Brandon Young, given what he's done in the minors in recent seasons. Because, like, I don't know, can they keep throwing Charlie Morton in that rotation?
Well, that's the kicker. I was going to say Kyle Gibson literally is, unless something really bad happens, is supposed to be back next week. That is supposed to be a thing. So Young probably goes back down again. But to your point, if he goes back down, it's really like for how long? Because Brandon Young should be taking Charlie Morton's spot. I agree with you there. So it's one of those, if you do add him, you might have to hold on to him for a start or 2 while he's not on the team. If that makes sense.
It does.
All right. Boston Red Sox, 6 games this week, 3 at Toronto, 3 versus the Minnesota Twins. 6 right-handed pitchers. Giddy up.
Giddy up, but all the Red Sox lefties are taken, so it's kind of whatever. Tristan Casas showed signs of life this week, so that was good for Tristan Casas fans. There was some excitement about, if I move over to the mound, Justin Slayton getting a save on Monday. I don't know. I feel like Aroldis Chapman has pitched really well this season. I still think it's just kind of 50-50 matchup space. So I don't know if Slayton's ready to fully run away with that job. I think it's kind of a timeshare between those two. But Slayton has looked really good, so I'll give some props there. Brian Bayo returned this week, did not look good. We get, I think, one more start to see what he can do later this week. And then we mentioned Lucas Giolito. Should be back soon, right?
Back next week.
You can.
He's 13% rostered, no C's.
So you can maybe try and slip in some. We kind of recommended it last week, so maybe a little bit tougher to slip in Lucas Giolito if you're interested in him this week, but you could do that as well.
Yeah, not sure I'm starting Giolito just yet, but definitely a guy I'd look to add as pitching continues to get decimated this season. He, at least we know the potential's there. Just will it appear? To your Slayton point, I agree. Like, the biggest takeaway I have there is he's the number 2, like Liam Hendricks, not looking like the guy Well, he's not right away. He's still coming back from injury, so maybe they're slow playing it. But Slayton's been so good. Hendricks has to really do something miraculous, or Slayton has to really, really step on it to screw it up, basically. So that's the biggest takeaway I have there. So if you're in a deeper format, Slayton still has value. I think he's one of the guys that we will say is a potential, stash or punt type pitch situation. So yeah, good call on Slayton. It's still Chapman's job, I agree, but yeah, Slayton could come into play. New York Yankees, they have 6 games coming up this week, 3 at Baltimore, 3 versus the Rays. It is 1 lefty and 5 righties for the New York Yankees, but another team that's pretty much locked in when it comes to pickups, I guess.
Agreed. I'm not going to sit here, I think, for the 3rd week in a row, even though it is 5 righties, and talk about Oswaldo Cabrera still yet to have a barrel, but is playing third base every day.
Playing every day.
You do get some playing time. Playing 9th. This is another one where I want to talk about the bullpen. You've got Luke Weaver and Fernando Cruz pitching well, and Devin Williams. Devin Williams not. So what's your? Obviously, we will have a couple more games before FAAB, but what's your concern level with Devin Williams?
I'm concerned by the fact he hasn't pitched since Saturday, and Weaver's pitched 3 times, and Cruz has pitched twice. Cruz has a save over that mix. Heck, Mark Leiter's pitched twice. They've utilized the other parts of the bullpen, so I'm very concerned there. I'm not So is there an injury? If he's not injured, I'm not concerned because they went out and traded for him. They stuck with other closers, like Ben mentioned it on our show on Monday. They stuck with Clay Holmes for multiple years before they finally pulled the pin. Devin Williams is going to get his run. Aaron Judge flat out came out in an interview after one of the last outings and said, "No, that's our guy. He knows what he's doing. He's in a funk. He's going to figure it out." When the captain steps up and says, "This is still our guy," then it's going to be tough for Aaron Boone to not make him their guy, if that makes sense to anybody. But there is concern. The fact he hasn't pitched on Saturday, I'd like answers. I'd say that much. So
I would have Luke Weaver. If you have Devin Williams, you're obviously not even just holding.
I mentioned Weaver last week. And you laughed at me.
Yeah. Well, it's been another, it's been another bad week for Devin Williams. So yeah, I would add Luke Weaver in a waterfall of conditional bids for relievers. Because Devin Williams, dude, all the strikeouts are way down, the whiffs are down, the velocity's down. Maybe it is just something he's got to figure out, but could be something else. Devin Williams is not a beacon of health either. So.
What it makes you wonder is the back injury he missed a lot of last year, acting up again. It was weird though, because his last outing was bad, but then he had 2 really good outings before that, and then he had a couple bad outings. So it's been kind of an up and down roller coaster, it feels like, with Devin. So we'll see, but I co-sign on the Luke Weaver situation. I tried to pick him up this last week in tout. Maybe the site change messed me up or whatever it was, but I ended up getting Garrett Whitlock and not Luke Weaver. So
I think you probably went on the wrong site, would be my guess.
Probably. There. I think Yahoo didn't have him eligible for me. Tampa Bay Rays, they have 6 games this week, 3 at home versus the Royals, 3 at the New York Yankees, 2 lefties, 4 righties for Tampa Bay. Chandler Simpson's gone. Pretty safe to say on that one, Ryan. But Cameron Meisner, I would keep playing him. He's in a pretty strict platoon, but did start against Eduardo Rodriguez. That was one thing we talked about on playback, so that was a plus. Had a nice shot late in the game there. I'd keep running him out there with Mangum out as well. Anything else you have there? Because the only other thing I'll mention is it felt like Christopher Morel was about to hit a platoon, but did play versus the righty on Thursday, thank God, because he was sitting versus righties and platooning in left field. But maybe that's another part of the Mangum injury. It's freeing up playing time for Morel.
Yeah, and I was going to bring up Morel as well, not so much as an ad, but it just I would still wait this out. I would wait this out a little bit more if you can with Morel. He's hitting the ball hard. Well, man. Exactly. He's striking out a ton, but he's hitting the ball hard. I think the playing time, with the Meisner injury is just one less Mangum. Sorry, I'm always going to get those guys mixed up. The Mangum injury, there's just one less obstacle, one less guy in the rotation. So if you have to cut Morel, I get it, but I wouldn't just rage drop Morel. There are some pieces there.
Yeah, and I want to shout out your boy. I picked him up in a handful of leagues last week.
My boy,
Jose Caballero. He's up to 79% rostered in OCs now, which says a lot about how well he's playing. But dude's hitting 271 with a homer, 8 runs, 10 RBIs, and 5 steals. He's hitting towards the top of the order. He's striking out 40%, which is hilarious. But he's getting the playing time. As long as he's like hitting for average like he is right now, he's going to run wild. And that positional flexibility is huge. So I've been taking advantage of that for the time being, and I recommend it to others as well.
I'll claim him as my boy while he's doing well. I'll take credit for that.
Toronto Blue Jays, 6 games this week, all at home. 3 versus Boston, 3 versus Cleveland, 5 righties, 1 lefty for the Jays to face. What do you got?
Not much. When is Mr. Varsho coming back? That's got to be pretty soon, right?
He started rehab this week. They were hoping for early next week. They basically wanted to give him a week or so. So the earliest would be early next week, most likely, and that's would make for a nice ad if available.
Yep, I think if you're in non-IL leagues, at least check, see if Dalton Varsho is out there. I think there might some combination of Alan Roden, your guy, Luke's, something. That is your guy. Remember, you recommended him once.
Well, yeah, drafted whole draft champions formats.
No, I've got a clip.
You do have a clip. That was last year, wasn't it?
It was last year. Oh, dude, I retain everything. But no, Dalton Varsho, I think, just take a look, because if he's back, that's going to be a good thing.
Yes, for sure. Very, very, very good thing. All right, let's go to the wonderful AL Central. We'll start with one of the best teams in baseball, the Chicago White Sox. 6 games this week, all at home. 3 versus Milwaukee, 3 versus Houston, 1 lefty, 5 righties. What pitcher should we stream?
That's always the question with the
Wait,
Chad Patrick.
They have Lance McCullers scheduled to pitch.
Fangraphs has Lance McCullers. I kind of doubt that. Maybe that's
RotoWire.
Maybe that's Blue Ball. Who knows?
I know Lance is actually close, honestly, but I thought they were going to keep slow playing this a little long. I'm gonna read this. I'll look up on it. You keep talking.
No, I don't have much other than to at least look at the starting pitchers: Tobias Myers, Chad Patrick. Again, these guys, I don't think they're all that great, but and I don't even know if Lance McCullers can go 5 innings these days. But White Sox, you want to stream against? The White Sox did get their first team save in ultimate White Sox fashion, by the way. A 7-inning save. They've got the first team save of the season on Thursday. So congratulations to Brandon Eisert, who got the save for the White Sox. And no, I would not recommend adding Brandon Eisert to your FAAB league.
Okay, that's I would not either. Chad Patrick's kind of quasi interesting, I'll be honest.
Kind of quasi interesting.
I'm trying to read an article on Lance McCullers and all these these pay sites.
Trying to read an article. What are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to get information for our people here. He's going to make a rehab start this week in a AA Corpus Christi, and it looks like if all goes well, we get him back potentially next week.
See, I learned something tonight.
That's what I wanted to look at. I wanted to check this out. Very interesting. He threw 61 pitches in his last rehab start and 4 shutout innings at AAA. He had his last one pushed back because he had the flu. So he's going to pitch this weekend. And, they're saying there's a legit chance. Wow, yeah. There's a chance he pitches next week, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's very surprising to me. So, we learn something new every day. All right, anything else on the White Sox? Any hitters you like here? Because it's a booming offense.
No, I don't.
Okay, so checking. Just wanted to make sure. All right, Cleveland Guardians, they have 7 games this week, 4 versus Minnesota, 3 at Toronto, all projected to be right-handed pitchers.
Yeah.
Problem with Cleveland? Not a whole lot unless I'm missing something, right?
No, there's not, but it's more like a definitely start Kyle Manzardo type of thing. If you have Manzardo, it's a definitely start Bo Naylor if you're in a 2-catcher league. But I'll stop there. I will not recommend streaming Nolan Jones, who is hitting second against righties, but it's not working out for Nolan Jones. So while it's tantalizing in a 7-game righty week, it's I don't think you can go there with Nolan Jones. And that pretty much wraps up the lefties on the Guardians. So definitely get your Manzardo in there. Could be a nice week for him.
I want to throw this name out there too. Angel Martinez. He's the starting center fielder for the Guardians. He's hitting 359, but no homers, 4 RBIs, 1 steal. 12.5% K rate, has not walked. He's got a 400 BABIP, so maybe he's running real pure, obviously, but he's hitting for average, and not sure much else comes out of that, but deeper formats potentially. You can
Deeper
see
formats, like honestly, we talk about maximizing plate appearances. Like if you have someone that's Christopher Morel just hit a home run, by the way. If we're talking about maximizing plate appearances in deeper league, someone playing every day in a 7-game week, that Angel Martinez is, you don't want to spend much, but if you need something there, I could see that.
Yep. All righty. Let's head to Detroit. The Detroit Tigers, they have 7 games coming up this week as well, all on the road. 3 at Houston, 4 at the Angels, 1 lefty, 6 righties for the Tigers. This is another team, like, I'm not running out to pick up Jace Young, so there's really nothing I'm too excited about right now.
Why not? Because I'm interested in Jace Young.
I know where you're going to go with this because your leaderboard showed me some very intriguing things about Jace Young.
Right.
I guess it's more so, I don't know. I want to see it to believe it because I'm not desperate at third base after making some moves last week.
Okay. Well, if you need third base or corner, I think Jace Young is, I think he's worth, because you don't have time to wait and see with Jace Young. He's going to get picked up this weekend in a bunch of FAAB leagues. It's 6 righties, and it's 6 pretty soft righties, right? It's that 11% K to walk for the righty, or for all the pitchers facing Detroit this week. So like, this is, I think, a great opportunity for Jace Young to see if he can stick. And if you need a corner, I think Jace Young is, I'm like looking at the minor league leaderboard right here. It's pretty much as many walks as Ks in AAA this year, 88 plate appearances. It's a 21%, 22% barrel rate. There's some prospect pedigree there. I'm in on Jace Young this weekend.
And as Michael Cicchini in the chat says, Will Vest is that's big boy pickup this week in the back of that bullpen. So
is he though? He's in
a committed. He's in a committed.
The guy, there hasn't been a guy in Detroit in some time. So I worry about spending too much there in FAAB.
Well, I don't want to spend too much on almost any of the guys we're going to talk about, to be honest, because they're all specs. Out of the ones we've talked about so far, and I think most of the ones we'll talk about going forward, I see Vest at least close to like a 50-50 with Tommy Kahnle. I see the Will Vest, Tommy Kahnle situation.
Because everyone was all over Kahnle a couple weeks ago. So.
And he's gotten his chances too, but he's more like the multi-inning type guy, and we've seen him more high leverage. And like when Vest has gotten at least one of the 2 saves Vest got, Kahnle pitched like the 8th, I think. So I think Vest is kind of like the Blake Trinan to Tanner Scott.
Okay.
Where Trinan was getting like 40% of the saves, 45% of the saves at that time before he got hurt. I think he's going to get his fair share. Let's put it that way.
Okay. That's a good comp. That's a good comp, and that is worth something. That is definitely worth something, because there are going to be saves there.
Like Luke Weaver, Slayton, we're kind of waiting for an injury potentially. Where Vest, I think, is going to get his chance once to twice a week to get in there and do it.
Makes sense.
All right, Kansas City Royals. They have 6 games coming up this week, all on the road. 3 at Tampa, which is a great place to play, obviously. 3 at Baltimore. No lefties, 6 righties. I just can't do it anymore, like we said last week. So who else you got for you?
Molehill Massey has now gotten even. I don't even know if there's something like less steep than a molehill, but Michael Massey's hitting 190 without a home run or a steal, 3% barrel rate. It's brutal. So we don't like that. The only other name I could think of is Drew Waters.
Yes.
Are we swimming in those waters? It's
you're swimming and ready to jump out of the water when the temperature gets wrong.
How clear is that water? Is it? I don't know.
It's not the kiddie pool at the water park, but it's probably not see through.
I think, but again, not to sound like a broken record, but playing time will be there. Drew Waters is hitting 273, but that's a mirage. The strikeouts are still very prevalent, but so is the hard contact, and he's going to run. So if some power speed potential in a 6-game righty week for the Royals, I think Drew Waters is mildly interesting in 15-teamers.
Especially with the 3 in Tampa Bay. I think he's almost interesting in 12s. If you're willing to drop him next week, the following week, I think he's very interesting even 12s.
And I mean, the righties at Baltimore is Morton, Creamer, Sagana. Like that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's a
good week.
Like you get Tampa, you get some tougher pitchers with Tampa, but then you get some gravy at Baltimore. So
yeah. Drew Waters, I think is. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I like Drew a lot this week if possible. Minnesota, they have 7 games coming up this week: 4 at Cleveland, 3 at Boston, 2 lefties, 5 righties for the Minnesota Twins. I'm pretty sure our buddy Luke is he should be widely rostered. He's only 42% rostered in 12s. Oh man, Luke
is he?
Yes, 42%. Yeah, you've till only probably got some people. So Luke Keishel, continue to add him because he just runs everywhere. Other than that, what do you got for Larnach swinging it well too? So
that's who else I was going to add is Larnach is actually playing well, and it's 5 righties in a 7-game week and a very, very favorable schedule for Minnesota this week. So I like a stream of who the hell am I talking about? Larnach. Yes. What's Larnach in? He is 62% rostered in 12. So I don't know.
Impressive.
I like both. I like Larnach this week. If you need somebody to stream, like more so than like an Ano Martinez, Drew Waters type of thing, if he's available.
Yeah, I agree. There a lot more power potential. That's for sure if needed in those. And yeah, that's about it. Just trying to check. Would you do anything with Johan Duran? Griffin Jackson's been bad. Is there any interest? Like Danny Colombe got the save the other day, which is funny. Are you just cool with Duran still doing his thing?
I think I mean, he got a save on Tuesday. He kind of labored, but I think bases loaded, no outs, but got through it. Because I think we against the White Sox, so he got through it. This is more just normal Duran, so there's nothing for me that changes.
All right, head to the AL West here. The Sacramento Athletics. They have 7 games on this week, all out of Sutter Health Park. They're all on the road. 4 at Texas, 3 at Miami, 1 lefty, 6 righties. Is there anybody worth adding in Sacramento? I can't. There's no name coming on the tip of my tongue right now. There's no reason to spend money on anybody from Oakland, Sacramento, right?
Yeah. It's only been 4 plate appearances so far. Well, they're playing right now, but yeah, the Nick Kurtz bonanza will begin, and he gets a 7-game week to start it off, 6 righties. So we won't really even know if Nick Kurtz is a platoon bat. Like the A's are saying he's not. But how comfortable are you in FAAB going for $300 on Nick Kurtz this week?
I'm not, because I never do. But if you want him, you're gonna have to go at least $300.
That's kind of I was trying to think of the number on the fly, but
like I said,
I'm not doing it either. But
no. My number is, if you look around your league, I think the winning bid, the person that wins the bid, spends at least 60% of their budget on him.
Wow. Okay. And I'm just not willing to do that. Like I've very few times in my NFBC career, which is far from illustrious, I will add, has been even in the 200s on anybody. So it's just not my style to go all FAAB in one basket. But I think you are going to have to probably look at your budget remaining, divided by 2, and do something like that.
Yeah, maybe it's more 50% of your budget, but it's going to be a gigantic chunk. So like I'm going to put I'll have some 3-digit bids out for him because I do like him a lot. I just don't foresee myself getting that lucky type situation.
I would just like to see I would not like to see a high 20s strikeout rate in AAA for Nick Kurtz. For me, that is a deterrent, but could just be me not wanting to spend money and me coming up with reasons to not do that. So
yeah, there's that as well. Houston Astros, they have 6 games coming up this week: 3 at home versus Detroit, 3 at the Chicago White Sox. No lefties, 6 righties for the Houston Astros. What do you got for us here?
All right, so we had a question about this in the Discord, and actually on the live Bloom boards, I'm going to talk about pitchers first. And the number, so one of the things that we have on the live Bloom boards is skill to date that is under 50% rostered in 12 teamers on the NFBC. Ryan Gusto is the most highly skilled so far in 2025 MLB skills, highest skilled starting pitcher available in less than 50% or available in more than 50%. He's basically available in all NFBC leagues. The skills are off the charts. Again, tiny sample, but if you are fabbing pitchers, you need to work off of tiny samples and not wait for Ryan Gusto to regress or whatever. You kind of have to take your stab now and hope that it works out. The skills look awesome for Ryan Gusto so far. So I would, and who does he line up for? Let's see. I think I wrote that down.
He faces Detroit.
Guess Detroit is next start.
Yep.
Let me actually go over to. Is that the only one?
Matchups tool.
Yeah. Yeah, they're only listed for one. So Detroit. I think if Ryan Gusto keeps pitching well, he's going to stay in that rotation. And this is when you need to jump on good skills. So I wouldn't break the bank, do triple digits or anything like that. But I think he should prioritize Ryan Gusto this week among starting pitchers.
I guess the one thing I'm going to throw back, and I still think he's very, very good, but to me, I think part of that skill set everyone's looking at is skewed by the 4 relief outings before the 3 starts.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And he was great the other night against Toronto. Like maybe he's fine at 5 2/3, 1 run, 6 Ks. But like going into that start, I wrote him up for matchups, and I'm like, okay, I get the appeal. I'm just concerned because like the start before that against San Diego, 5 innings, 2 runs is great, but 2 strikeouts. Start before that, 4 innings, 1 run, 6 Ks. So like the strikeouts have been there in 2 out of 3 starts. He's upping his innings pitch. Like these are all positive things. I'm just trying to throw a little, if there's any shade on it, when we're looking at those numbers. But I agree. Like if you're going to take the chance is now. I'm with you.
And that would be my rebuttal to your rebuttal is like starting pitching just sucks.
No.
This is at least someone who could be good. Like,
yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there just in case people are like,
well, no, it's a good point. And I think that is something to look at. Starter reliever splits. He can be a different pitcher out of the pen than in the rotation. So it does make sense. Do you think he sticks in the rotation? Do you think he has a spot?
I do.
Like going forward.
The question is, though, with McCullers coming back, RotoWire does not have him in the rotation the following week.
Oh, great. Yeah. So maybe just a streamer. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Do we really trust McCullers to stay healthy? But he hasn't pitched in a big league game since 2022.
Correct.
So, let's be real about these things. But I agree. Gusto's very, very interesting. He's 1% rostered in 12s, and it's in my OC, I'm pretty sure, because I'm looking at this. And the person that has him rostered in my OC, he's a member of the Patreon, and that is our buddy Churchill. So
well done. Well done, Greg.
That was pretty impressive when I saw that. I just had to laugh for a second. All right, anything else on Houston? I did want to throw out there a shout out because it was one guy that I looked at a lot doing PT tomorrow, especially in the preseason, and that was Zach DeCenzo is starting to get regular at bats. And this is a guy that I've been kind of beating the drum for a while. He's played in 2 of the last 3 games. He missed the 1 game he missed because he was injured, basically. Basically had the nothing serious, I'll say. But he played first base in 1 game, right field in another after kind of being banged up for a few. You don't have to add him now. I just want to bring him up because he's already hitting 318. The dude could hit, and he has a ton of power once given the opportunity and runs wild. Just wanted to highlight him for someone to keep an eye on, basically. If they're going to start playing him regularly, he is the guy that should play left field while Altuve plays second base with the guys they have on the roster. I think there's other options in the minors. But if that's what they're going with, he needs to play. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, we both like DeCenzo quite a bit, at least in draft and holds this draft season. So now that the playing time looks to potentially be there,
hopefully be there.
I get it. Yep.
So I just want to shout that, especially deeper leagues, if you want to put him in a waterfall for $1, see where it goes. Not the worst thing you can do right now. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, 6 games coming up this week. The good old 2-game series at Seattle, and then 4 against Detroit. 1 lefty, 5 righties for the Los Angeles Angels. I don't have a lot here.
I don't either. The only thing that I've got, this is just a team-wide thing. At least me, like the Angels they're not running at all this season. It is this is another live Bloom Boards thing. 7% stolen base aggressiveness. That is dark red on the Bloom Board. And it's just interesting. Like a year ago, everyone was running wild, and Ron Washington said everyone would run wild, and they did. And for whatever reason, complete opposite. Our good mascot, Luis Rengifo, has attempted 1 steal all season. So, like, there are some itchy fingers out there, probably in 12s. Do I drop Luis Rengifo? If he's not running, what is Luis Rengifo doing? So
getting his teeth fixed.
Yeah, my man did have a root canal, and pinch hit that night. Legend.
Yeah, what a baller. This is why we had candlelight vigils for this man.
Legend.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Yes, he is an absolute unit.
One
thing I'll say though, to piggyback on the steals thing, and it's just an all-encompassing offensive thing, because everyone's pointing to Kyron Paris, and I get it, he is pretty bad right now. The entire team sucks right now. Like the Angels out like the first 10 games of the year, one of the hottest teams in baseball, ironically almost all on the road. They come back home to Anaheim, and they have not been able to hit the ball for like a week and a half to 2 weeks. It's bad. I can't remember the stat I saw last night, but someone tweeted it out. It's been dreadful as a team. They've been very, very bad. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you're starting to like Taylor Ward keeps dropping bombs, like that's a plus. But as a whole, the team is pretty bad. And the A's walk it off. Jacob Wilson,
Luke Jackson with the blown. Oh well,
things you hate to see. All right, Seattle Mariners, they have 5 games this week, 2 at home versus the Angels, 3 at the Texas Rangers, 1 lefty, 4 righties, 5 games. Not much I like about that.
Yeah, we can probably skip the Mariners this week. A 5-game week, you're not really looking to add unless there's somebody really good up there, and it's the Mariners. So actually the Mariners have hit better lately. They've had a pretty fruitful road trip, but I don't see much of an add in a 5-game week. Even our guy Rowdy, maybe a weekend streamer, but yeah, I don't have much.
All righty, let's head to Texas. We have the Rangers, 7 games this week, all at home. 4 versus the A's, 3 versus Seattle, 2 lefties, 5 righties. Anything coming your way from Texas? Are you giving our guy Dustin Harris a shot with all the righties coming up here? Or I had to
my longtime buddy Dustin Harris. I still don't know anything about him, so I'm not looking there for a shot. Jake Berger had a home run this week. That was nice to see. Mentioned Josh Smith at the top of the show. If you're desperate in deeper leagues, Josh Smith's going to play in the wake of Corey Seager, but that's pretty much it, man.
Yep, not much there at all. Pitching is what it is when it comes to Texas for now. Jack Leiter's coming back, if that tickles your fancy at all. The Atlanta Braves, they have
just real quick, Greg Dropper hold Rocker in 15s. We talked about him a little at the top of the show, but we're probably dropping Kumar Rocker in 15s.
Yeah, he's either going to be in AAA, or right now he's on the IL, so I don't see a clear path to success at the moment. Atlanta Braves, they have 3 at Colorado, 3 at home versus the Dodgers. That's like the complete polar opposite situation there. But you got 6 righties out of the 6 games, which is always a plus, and that means Alex Verdugo, man. People like to make fun of him. He was one of the he was either number 1 or number 2 most added player in main events this past week. So yeah, Alex Verdugo, legit an option.
12% start or 12% owned in 12 teamers, and is not only playing every day against righties, he is leading off. So that helps an empty batting average type guy. The more at bats you can get out of those types of players, it's going to work. So Alex Verdugo for sure, especially for the Coors Series. If you want to bench Verdugo over the weekend against Yamamoto, Sasaki, and Glasnow, I won't blame you there. But even in full week leagues, I think a 6 righty week, Alex Verdugo, for as much as everyone likes to make fun of him, ourselves included, is a decent option for you in the outfield.
Yeah, AJ Smith-Shawver's back for a 2-step. We'll talk about it during the 2-step weeks, but
nice.
That is an interesting dichotomy we have found ourselves in with him, because I know we like him, but that's a tricky one. At Colorado, then home versus the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was like that's
we'll talk
go to
about
Coors and then face the Dodgers. Good
God dang, welcome back, buddy. I hope you figured it out. Your 1 AAA start. Good Lord. All right, Miami Marlins. They have 6 games coming up this week. 3 at the Dodgers, 3 at home versus the A's. 1 lefty, 5 righties for the Marlins, and Matt Mervis not hitting for average, but still dropping bombs, which is a plus if you're there. But dude, let's not bury the lead any longer on this one. The great Augustin Ramirez is potentially the pickup you want this week, not Nick Kurtz. Just put it that way. So Augustin Ramirez, dude's already running. He's hitting doubles. He's got great plate discipline in a couple games. Augustin Ramirez, big boy. Like I told you, I would drop If Augustine still plays a lot this weekend, I would drop a guy like Wells for Augustine Ramirez.
So I'm putting you on the spot a lot tonight, but you are the catcher guy. 15-teamer, 2-catcher league. You have like nothing for your second catcher. It's just dead weight. Are you going
Heavy.
120 on Agustin Ramirez?
At least you want to make sure you walk away with him. Yes, he is a must hit for your team.
Okay. I'm not saying I disagree. You're confident in this one, so
especially in
that
15,
means a lot.
Like you mentioned dead weight. If you get a productive second catcher in a 15, that is a life. And like it's huge.
You're confident he's going to stay up. Ramirez is going to stay up. I am. He's hitting the middle of the lineup, running like you said. So I can see it. I can absolutely see it.
Where they're hitting him is giving me confidence. Now, let's be honest. It's the Marlins. They could just literally screw this up in a heartbeat. There's no denying that. But I would definitely low 200s in a 15 if you have Bailey. I hope you don't have to go that high. I hope you don't. I hope you don't have to go that high. But in a 15, like the upgrade over Bailey is like to me. Augustine Ramirez, Augustine Ramirez. Hear me out on this one. Augustine Ramirez, if he is the starting catcher that plays, let's say 80% of the games for the Marlins the rest of the way, he hits in the middle of that order every single day. I know it's not the best offense, but if he does, let's just preface this. That's like what 140 game pace for a catcher. Let's just throw that out there. This dude is a top 10 fantasy catcher. So I'm
not going to debate you on that one. I'm not.
That's my thoughts. Now, maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe I'm too excited on this. People will disagree with me. Let's put it that way. But I am huge on Augustine Ramirez. And if it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. But if you need to upgrade, especially like in 15s, it's even more important than 12s. 12s, you still need to do it. But 15s, we've talked about like that. Some people punt catching and you look to find it on the wire. Well, here it is. Now you ready to pay up or not? Pretty much what it comes down to. And
I'm ready to run through a wall now. Let's go.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna have some bids in for Augustine. Like Tyler Stevenson's due back to start next week.
Pep talk.
So that'll be interesting. But love me some Augustine Ramirez. Like we didn't even talk about Edgar Cuero. If he's available for the White Sox, pick him up. I think he's very good. But he's more of a catcher too. We talked about him last week in FAAB. He's still available in a lot of leagues. Augustine's the dude you want right now.
All right, just some other names. Well, Bubba, simmer down over there.
Go check my blood pressure real quick.
Yeah. Eric Wagman is hitting. I think I made fun of you for him a couple weeks ago. Hitting third every day. Really good strikeout rate, 14%.
Wait a minute, I need to rewind that and clip it again.
8% barrel rate. You got to learn how to clip this stuff, man. You got to learn. Can't keep letting me get away with this stuff. But Eric Wagman is there. Connor Norby, Jesus Sanchez are both back. Mash Mervis is mashing, and it's a 5-game week. So there's actually like a lot of action with the Marlins FAAB-wise. We mentioned the Tinoco, Dr. Foucher, Bender, triumvirate closers there. That's also I'm not sold on the Marlins getting that many saves, but Tinoco is someone you could look at. I don't think he's very good, but you could look at if you need saves. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's Tinoco and Foucher for me. Like Bender's good. I don't think Bender's he's definitely the C in the mix, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but I think Tinoco's better than Foucher, if that's an option. But it doesn't say much, probably at the same time.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't say much.
But I want to comment one more thing on the hitters, that because you mentioned like half of the starting lineup, and it's accurate because the last couple months of the season we were like this. Anytime they faced a lot of righties, the Marlins showed up like they were streams all over the place, and it turned into Jesus Sanchez being a great player for like last month and a half of the season. So they do have some ball players out there. Obviously, be careful because it is the Marlins, but on weeks like this, take advantage of it because like Dustin May just got lit up by Chicago. He's been pitching to contact. Gonsolin coming off the IL. Kasperius is a bullpen game. Then you got Beto, Sears, and JT Jen. Like I like Jen a lot. He's probably the one I like the most out of the 6 pitchers they face next week. So that might say a lot for you.
Last thing is Tony Gonsolin's listed as a probable against Miami. that kind of snuck up on me. Gonsolin potentially coming back, so that's a potential starting pitcher ad. I know it's not really Marlins, but it's related to him, so I figured I'd throw that out there while we have it.
All right. Apparently, I've been wrong this whole time. It's Augustin Ramirez.
Augustin. Apologies.
Out of all the Augustines I know in the line of work I work in, Augustin is one I've never heard just yet. So learn something new every day. I appreciate that.
Augustine.
All right, New York Mets. What's up?
Augustine, according to Baseball Reference as well. So yeah, thanks, Steven.
Yeah. All right, New York Mets. They have 7 games coming up this week. It's 1 at the Nationals, then 3 at home versus Arizona, then 3 at St. Louis. That's called a lot of travel, folks. At least it's all kind of on the East Coast for them, which is a plus. 2 lefties, 5 righties. The reinforcements are coming back on Friday for the Mets. Ryan's hitting wrong buttons and stuff. This is like amateur hour over here. I was saying the Mets.
Like close out a StreamYard while I'm trying to look up a pronunciation for a player. That's like the ultimate podcasting no-nos.
That's good stuff. So Ryan has to find his thing to share once again. There we go. We're talking New York Mets here, though. I said they got some reinforcements coming back on Friday. Anything else you have for the Mets? Because honestly, I'm not the biggest Mets streaming type guy.
Yeah, I obviously didn't hear what you said, but no. McNeil's back. Jeff McNeil's back. Yes. Brett Beatty option. You probably mentioned that. So no, I'm not really interested in any Mets this week.
Yeah, Francisco Alvarez coming back as well on Friday. Let's see what his roster is just for fun. 88% in 12. So there's some leagues where he will go for a lot of money this weekend. Not as much as Augustine should go for. I like him even more.
That's where I was going to go for.
I'd rather have Augustine than Francisco Alvarez. Yes, I would. And it's not just for this small sample we've seen. I've been on this guy from the get-go, and he's finally getting his chance. Like, I love what we've seen in the minor leagues. This is a dude that runs and hits for power.
All right.
Yeah, you're gonna if you're gonna compare every catcher to him, you're gonna get
Augustin Ramirez does not play for the New York Mets, Bubba.
He played for the Yankees before he got traded to the Marlins. So, Philadelphia Phillies, 6 games coming up this week. 3 at home versus Washington, 3 at home versus Arizona. 2 lefties, 4 righties for the fighting Phils. Not a lot of here though, because they kind of just stick with what they got. I will say Bryson Stott is swinging it really well right now.
Yeah, but going back to Augustin Ramirez, you got to love the power.
He's this era's version of JT Real Muto, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect comp for Augustin Ramirez is JTR because he runs. No, I don't know. I don't ever have anything on the Phillies. No, honestly, they
just run out the same lineup every time.
Pretty much. And Alvarado's pretty much cemented in the 9th. What a fall for Romano, who took another blown save loss this week. Not even technically blown save, but took another loss. It's been bad.
It's been real bad. All right, let's head to the Washington Nationals here. They got 7 games this week, 1 at home versus the Mets, and then 3 at Philly, 3 at Cincinnati and Great American Small Park. 2 lefties and 5 righties for Washington. C.J. Abrams is back. That's a plus. Yep. Other than that, though, it's pretty much business as usual. Dylan Cruz is starting to hit, but not a whole lot of interest for me here.
You took the 2 big things out of my mouth there. C.J. Abrams and Dylan Cruz is rolling. I remember we even got some do I drop Dylan Cruz type things.
Yes,
and
we did.
Yeah, Dylan Cruz is looking good again. So that's good to see.
You know who else is looking good again? The guy they DFA'd and then re-signed for like $9 million.
Kyle Finnegan.
Kyle Finnegan has 9 saves again this already. Like it's 8 or 9. It's insane. Just doing things like Kyle Finnegan does, and gets underappreciated for it.
Steven Crawford, Dylan Cruz, or Luis Robert in a head-to-head categories league. I would go Dylan Cruz.
Dylan Cruz for sure. In a weekly head-to-head, yes, Dylan Cruz. Definitely Dylan Cruz. All right, the NL Central here, Chicago Cubs. They have 6 games this week, all on the road. 3 at Pittsburgh, 3 at the Milwaukee Brewers, 2 lefties, 4 righties. Cubs don't do a lot of, besides the Michael Busch thing, it's pretty much business as standard operating procedure with the Cubbies. And Carson Kelly is starting to play more like 65% of the games at catcher, not 50-50. I'll say that much.
Yeah. It probably over to the season will probably be 50-50. 2 super productive catchers. They're no Augustin Ramirez, but they've been really productive. So So that's good. All I have for the Cubs is like I might be aggressive on Porter Hodge this week if he's available in FAAB. I do think Porter Hodge is probably the top closer. I guess he's still a spec because Presley has not been removed from the role. But given how Presley has looked this season, given he just got his knee trained, he's old.
Stop. Can you say that first part about Presley again, please?
He hasn't been that good.
Okay, because I said that to you, and you're like, "No, he's fine."
Well, that was during tout when I drafted Presley. He's been okay, but just the skills are bad.
They're real bad. They're like the old adage of don't watch your closer, don't watch Presley pitch. Do not watch Presley pitch.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, his first outing with 3 walks was while I was sleeping in Tokyo. But no, I might. I mean, you don't want to go crazy on a Porter Hodge bid. I don't even know how rostered he is. My freaking mouse works. Porter Hodge is.
I don't want you to close that.
40%. 40% rostered in 12s. I would be prioritizing Porter Hodge. I think that's where this is going.
Yeah, he would probably be the top one. I'd have him and then probably Will Vest and Tinoco. Those would be like my top 3 so far. I like Hodge a lot. I'm not kidding. We were watching the playback. We watched that 9th inning. Hodge looked filthy. I know it's just one outing and things can change from time to time, but fastball looked good, but his slider, he made Ohtani look silly. If people have not seen that yet and you want to know how much to bid on Porter Hodge, go check that out. Is the best thing I can say. All right, Cincinnati Reds, they have a big week coming up here. 7 games, all at home in Great American Small Park. 4 against the Cardinals, 3 against the Nationals, 3 lefties and 4 righties to spice things up for you. Over the weekend, though, it's 1 lefty and 2 righties if you're looking for something to kind of, give you something to lean against. But it's pretty much a platoon week is what it feels like, Ryan. So anything insightful here when you're – and again, Tyler Stephenson's supposed to be back to start the week.
Yeah, Tyler Stephenson's supposed to be back, which is awesome. The Reds have picked it up lately. Reds have absolutely picked it up lately. Friedel's hitting, Fraley's hitting a little bit, Noelvi Marte's hitting. Austin Hayes has looked good since he's come back. So I would look at Noelvi Marte if you need third base. Again, wide range of outcomes there with Noelvi Marte, but has looked good since his 1-day AAA demotion and then back up. So I like Noelvi Marte, and I don't know what Austin Hayes' roster rate is in 12s. It's 100%. Never mind.
So he should be fully rostered. Yeah,
it should be.
Right.
Okay. So Noelvi Marte would be my big FAAB look at.
Question for you on this one. I think the answer is really simple, but I'm just curious because you do like Jace Young. Would you rather have Marte or Jace Young?
That's a good question, actually. Probably take a stab at Marte, but I don't think they're that far apart.
Give me the 7 games in Cincinnati and see where it goes.
Yeah. No, I could see that. Yep.
All right, Milwaukee Brewers, they have 6 games coming up this week. 3 at the White Sox, 3 at home versus the Cubs. 1 lefty, 5 righties on this one. So this does open up a couple of potential streaming options, but what are you looking at with Milwaukee?
Are you baiting me into a Garrett Mitchell recommendation here? Didn't he steal 2 bases today or yesterday or something in the same game? Like you're all happy, dude. Yeah, he's up to 3 for the season, so that's good. Proud of Garrett Mitchell.
It's just I wanted to highlight this because it's been a horrific season. He's up to 209 on the year now, which is a plus.
That's good. Yeah, 209.
It's been bad. I'm not denying that, but there are some he still has the 7% barrel rate, a career high 43% hard hit rate. The ground ball rate's down to 42.5% from 55% last year. I think he's showing better skills than production has given. That's what I'll try to say. I still don't think he's playing as great as I hoped he would play, but I think there's more to him there. So I wouldn't, I don't know if give up's the right word, but I wouldn't move on from Garrett Mitchell just yet. That's what I want to get with.
Yeah,
could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, this would be the week for Garrett Mitchell to start getting right for sure.
And I think this person's well rostered, but let me double check. 99%. But if you're like in a Yahoo or some other format, Sal Frelick has been playing phenomenal, hitting for average. Not a lot of power, though. Like very limited power, but tons of batting average speed. Hits 5th, so the run production will be there. This is another great week for a guy like Sal Frelick if you're looking for someone to stream.
Okay.
Pittsburgh Pirates, 6 games this week, all at home. 3 versus the Cubs, 3 versus the Padres. 2 lefties, 4 righties, but it's 2 lefties and 1 righty to start the week against the Cubs, and 3 righties over the weekend versus the Padres. They are King, Cease, and then the gas can Vasquez. So what are you doing here with Pittsburgh?
I'm not really doing much with the lineup. There's not much that I see.
Well, I know where that's going then.
Where? Casey Bubba watch?
No, you said not much with the lineup, so you're hinting at another reliever, I think.
Yeah. No, I was actually going to go there. Bednar and Dennis Santana. Is that where you wanted me to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Bednar has looked good.
Bednar, yeah. No, I do have that note down. Bednar has looked good. Dennis Santana did get the save on Wednesday.
Yep.
I do think ultimately Bednar gets his job back if he does look a lot better. And I think if Bednar looks good, he's going to get the job back. I don't know when that would happen, but I do think like Bednar, it's a tough week for FAAB for closers because there's so many like specs like that. Bednar probably is pretty widely rostered.
Yeah, not many dropped him last I looked. Yeah, he's still 96%.
But yeah, I think he gets the job back at some point, assuming he keeps looking pretty good.
Yep, I'm with you. So I was figuring that's what you're going to bring up. Anything else you got with the Pittsburgh Pirates?
No, I won't make a Tommy Pham joke.
He'll tell you how he really feels about it, though. Greg Smith did say who in the Milwaukee rotation gets bumped for Woodruff. Woodruff's expected back in his last rehab start is supposed to be next week and then come back. RotoWire has Chad Patrick being the odd man out. I'd imagine it's Patrick since they traded for Priester and they're not sending Quintana down. So Patrick.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say Priester, but
they traded for Priester, so I think they run with him a little longer. But yeah,
it's a good question. I don't think we know for sure, but yeah, I think if I had to bet, it would be Chad Patrick.
Yes, if you have 2 first names, you're probably the first option to go.
Well, of course.
Yep. St. Louis Cardinals, they have 7 games this week, 4 in Great American, 3 at home versus the Mets, 2 lefties, 5 righties. Great American is 1 lefty and 3 righties. And it's Nick Martinez, Singer, Abbott, and Green. So it's actually like a rotation that's shown promise, weirdly enough, but it's in Great American, of course. And the Cardinals offense is filthy right now. So what are you looking at here? Because most are actually rostered by now.
Yeah, which is weird to say for the Cardinals, but yes, most are rostered at this point. Mason Wynn is back. Your guy is back. But that's pretty much it. Nolan Gorman started against righties regularly. He's pretty much their second baseman against righties, but I don't know if Nolan Gorman is all that either. So I guess I'll just default to just saying Matthew Liberatore again. He's up to like 80% rostered in 12 teamers, but looking at the starting pitcher planner, Liberatore's next 3 starts is Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. So a nice little stretch there coming up for Mr. Liberatore, who has looked good so far, but starting to become universally rostered at this point.
Yeah, the Liberatore thing that helped me a ton last week. Looking at your starting pitcher kind of primer planner, that whatever you want to call it, because I'll screw it up no matter what you call it. Like so him, Andrew Abbott, who we really didn't talk about much, he stands out in there. It's been a very nice way to kind of rank what I'm looking to add for the week and maybe how much I should emphasize getting said players. And Liberatore stands out in a big way, and the skill changes look legit. And it's amazing what happens when a young player with talent actually gets time to figure things out. Once in a while, it works. So I'm there with you on that. And just another point on Nolan Gorman, real quick. He's been playing for Donovan because Donovan hurt his ribs swinging in batting practice. And he's day to day. But the Cardinals have also come out saying they want Gorman to get regular playing time right now.
And Gorman has started at second. I see what you mean. Yeah,
for 2 games now. Yeah. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. If Gorman keeps getting run, at least for this week, especially that first 4 games in Cincinnati. Could be a definite nice stream to have.
Yep.
All right. NL West, Arizona Diamondbacks, 6 games this week, 3 at the Mets, 3 at the Phillies. It's 3 lefties, 3 righties, which makes things very, very, very complicated in the hitting department.
Right. And so like the last 2 weeks has been Pavin Smith time. I don't know if that's the case this week.
tough.
That's the tricky part about these trick platoon guys is like it's tough to start Pavin Smith this week. Is it tough to hold him? I don't know what the fall. I should probably look what the next week is, but you hold him. But it's just tough to have. It's tough to have a roster spot on a guy you're not going to use.
Dude, next week they're scheduled for 7 games, all right-handed pitching.
Okay, so there we go. So you obviously hold on there. Tim Tawa,
he's playing well. Another home run.
Playing second base every day. So another home run tonight. I like that. Another Arizona, another reliever spec thing. Like what? Yep. I mean, so obviously Puck is out and probably done for a while. Unfortunately, I still don't get the warm and fuzzies over Justin Martinez, even though he did pitch on Wednesday. Problem is, I don't know. I mean, we kind of talked about this, but like I don't know if Ginkel's back rehabbing, I guess, in AAA. You got Shelby Miller and Jalen Beeks, so it's just for me. It's a tough place to spec on a closer because there are like 3 potential plan Bs if Justin Martinez is actually hurt. So I don't know.
So this is what happened tonight in the Discord. We're getting reports here from like Jorge Montanez and others. They said Lavolo sticks with Ryan Nelson for a 2-inning save despite
Ryan Nelson. Oh, God.
No, let me finish. Before Martinez throwing only 12 pitches yesterday, Nelson just blew it, and now Shelby Miller is warming up. Shelby Miller came in and got the save.
Okay, there we go. Jesus.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good old-fashioned S show out there in the desert.
Like I feel like it's Shelby. It could also be, hey, Justin threw for the first time in 6 days. We're not going to throw him on back-to-backs. We watched that whole save, I believe, on the playback, and he was pumping 100 to 102 every time out there. And I'm like, this doesn't make me feel great, honestly, after missing 6 games. Yeah. But so I'm still not sold on Justin Martinez just yet. Let's put it that way. But Shelby Miller feels like the guy for now. But like you said, I think it's an S show.
I mean, it was Ginkel last year when Sewald was out. So if Ginkel looks good in his rehab, I think the moral of the story is maybe a low conditional on who you like over like maybe Shelby Miller, but I wouldn't invest too much because ultimately you're waiting for Justin Martinez to go on the IL, which may or may not happen. So.
Greg Smith said it's a good old fashioned stay away.
Yeah,
it's probably the best answer.
More succinct than we are, so I like that.
Colorado Rockies, they have 7 games this week, 3 at home versus the Braves, 3 at the Giants, 2 lefties, 5 righties in this one. And if you're looking at Colorado, like of course Jordan Beckett's a double dong in game 2 of the doubleheader today, which just made me chuckle, all things considered, in that one. But where are you at on this one? Mickey Moniak, you a Mickey Moniak believer, or are you just kind of staying away here?
I don't think I'm a Mickey Moniak believer since you were singing "Hey Mickey, You're So Fine" on the playback stream. I don't think I can ever.
Oppo Taco versus Bobby Miller deserved that.
I don't know. Maybe. Nick Martini, would love to see a Nick Martini versus JT Ginn matchup. That would be nice.
That would be shaking, baby.
That would be shaking. Jordan Beck, I do think is, again, double dong, like you just said, 5 righty week against pretty soft pitching, especially the first half of the week. It is those 3 home games. Jordan Beck is interesting. Adele Amador is not playing against lefties, which is unfortunate. So I don't know. It's the Rockies, man. It's like maybe Jordan Beck, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'd be willing to throw a couple shekels at Jordan Beck. I think the guy is still super talented. I drafted him everywhere to start the year. I've dropped him everywhere since.
Yep.
I still believe in the skill set. It's one of those things we talk about with young players. Sometimes it takes a couple up and downs to figure things out. So I am a believer. Like obviously the double dong helps, but he's playing every day. I think there's something to at least keep an eye on.
Yep, I like it.
Dodgers 6 games this week, 3 at home versus Miami, 3 at the Atlanta Braves. All right-handed pitchers for the Dodgers to face this week, but as usual, Dodgers are pretty rostered.
Dodgers are pretty rostered, so I don't really see anything on the hitter side. Maybe Andy. I will always have Andy Pages love. Did homer, I think, today or yesterday. Saw that somewhere. Outside of that, Tony Gonsolin's coming back. So mentioned him earlier when we did Houston's rundown, but or no, someone else's rundown, but Tony Gonsolin is coming back, so I think that's an interesting add. Anybody on the Dodgers who is remotely a decent pitcher is worth adding in my book. So I like Gonsolin as a probably a somewhat upper tier starting pitcher ad. He would get Miami on Tuesday and then probably get a 2-step the following week against somebody.
Yep, definitely someone to keep an eye on. He's not available in the OC I'm looking at, but hopefully he's available somewhere else.
Is he like
San
widely
Diego-
rostered or just wasn't not
Not drafted. In a 12 team, no one was drafted him.
Yeah, okay. He's 12%. Gonsolin's 12% in 12 across all 12 teamers.
There you go. All righty, let's look at the San Diego Padres. They have 5 games this week. 2 against the Giants, 3 at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 2 lefties, 3 righties. I am moving along.
Yes. There's just never anything with the Padres. So
yeah, it's bad. Last but not least, here the Giants 6 games this week. 2 games at the Padres, 4 at home versus Colorado. 2 lefties, 4 righties. I'll just say the usual. Keep playing Yaz. He went deep again on Thursday. Other than that, please stop playing Lamont Wade Jr. if you're still doing that. It's atrocious what he's doing at the plate. It's pretty much Yaz is the only guy I think might be available for you.
So what's your take on Ryan Walker, Camilo Duvall?
Yeah, that's fun. I said it even in the preseason that I said the Giants want Duvall to be the closer again sometime, but Walker has to blow it. It's still Walker's job.
He is blowing it.
But they keep bringing him into non-save situations and all this BS. It's like been such bad usage. It's been annoying.
Okay.
And Duvall blew it today. Like, he didn't look great. So I don't know if he blew it, but he struggled to get home, is what I'm trying to say. I still think he should have Duvall. He's one of he'd be right behind Porter Hodge for me.
So that's where I was to kind of wrap this up for everyone. Like, how are we ranking these closer specs? Because we've talked about Duvall, we've talked about Cade Smith behind Class A, we've talked about Porter Hodge. Who else have we talked about? Luke
Weaver.
Like, how would you rank kind of that group? I feel like Duvall and Porter Hodge are the kind of the cream of the crop for specs this week.
I'd go Hodge, Duvall, Tinoco, Cade Smith, David Bednar, Weaver, Slayton. God, Vest. I have Vest actually. I'm going through my list here. Vest. I'd have Vest ahead of Cade Smith. So I'd probably have Hodge, Duvall, Tinoco, Vest. My top 4.
You were lying when you said like a third of the teams have closers.
Yeah, I put RPs next to the guys. I always write my stuff down like usual. So,
and we take a picture of it for our Patreon and Discord folks. We take a picture of Bubba's notes because I know we mention a ton of guys in this show. So,
yep. So
anyway,
yeah, I think Duvall, because the one thing I'll mention about Duvall and why I'd still be aggressive on him is even when Walker was pitching well, Duvall was still picking up like a save or two every other like every 2 weeks he'd end up with a save or two. Like, he was still getting the usage and everything in the back end.
Okay.
What?
No. Yeah. Never mind.
What did I say?
My mind went elsewhere.
I got you. I got you now. Yeah, I got you. All right, let's talk. Most added and dropped according to one of the best sites in fantasy baseball. FanTrax.
Truly enjoyed FanTrax.
Yeah, great FAAB process. Customization of their leagues are phenomenal. Really cool stuff over there.
All right. We are showing the list. So the top. The most added this week so far in FanTrax, Eric Wagaman, and your guy, the Goose, Agustin Ramirez.
The Goose, I like it even more now. The Goose.
They're up there. Noelvi Marte is up 10, up to 63% rostered in FanTrax. Gavin Lux, we didn't really talk about, but
I feel like he's already so rostered. We've talked about him a few weeks ago, and everyone's been on him.
68% in FanTrax, so he's up there.
86% in OCs, yeah.
Okay. Luke Keishel, Pavin Smith is rising. We just talked about. You may want to cool it on Pavin Smith for a week and then get him in another week. Tim Tawa, again, this is kind of what I like about these risers is you can instantly see the kind of the green skills for Tim Tawa. For just 41 plate appearances, but a 20% K rate, that's better than average. 12% barrel rate, that is really good. And he's attempting to steal bases. So that is also really good. So you kind of get that trifecta from Tim Tawa. Interesting to only see Nick Kurtz up 3%, but FanTrax is pretty heavy in keeper dynasty.
Up to 78%.
Yeah. I think really Nick Kurtz is like only NFBC like eligible because just the NFBC rules. So anyway,
with you. And there's Drew Waters, which is a plus because he's up to 8% upgrade. But I think he's definitely at least 15 viable this week with a splash of 12 because the matchups are pretty sweet for Drew.
I don't know much about Javier Sanoa, third baseman for the Marlins. We didn't talk about him, but I don't think he runs a lot. I think we want to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on that one just yet. I feel like Connor Norby is still going to get plenty of runs. So I know Sanoa's playing. He's like a utility guy all over the infield, but I'm not there right now. Like, you still got the big strike guy, right? Doesn't barrel the ball very much. Just runs a lot. So if that's what you want, great. I also don't know if the batting average is sustainable, I guess is the right word.
Yep.
There's Chandler Simpson, Mickey. There's Mickey. He's downgraded Mickey. He's right there.
Hey, Mickey.
Yes. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, honestly, nice skills. 19% K rate, 14% barrel, a little bit of running over 62 plate appearances. And we talked about the Rockies at home for some of their games this week in a 7-game week. So I could see streaming the Mick.
I'll take that as a change of tune right there.
Yeah, I guess.
Other than that, like Josh Smith's a dude we are liking. Trevor Larnach, Caleb Durbin's pretty much rostered everywhere.
Yep.
And then Mr. Clean Your Sheets, who already went deep.
Hey, man. Sheets looking pretty clean this week.
Yeah, real
Good
clean.
Week. Good week.
But San Diego's got a bad week to use Mr. Sheets coming up, so do with that
Correct.
as you wish.
Agreed. All right, pitchers.
Yes, I don't know why Tyler Anderson is at the top. That is hilarious.
Probably his current stream for tonight, which did not go well against the Pirates. So there is that. Will Vest is your highest relief riser, up 8% in Fantrax leagues, up to 19% with a 32% K rate, 227 Sierra this season. Again, that's and shout out to Michael C in the chat. Michael C's wearing the vest, and he's a Tigers guy, so you trust that. So Will Vest, I think you can prioritize, but like we just said, right, a little bit below Doval and
Hodge.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. Griffin Canning, that's the good one. He's 83% rostered in OCs, but the skills have looked very good of late, like very good of late. So I could see that being a stream coming up. Landon Roop got beat up a bit on Thursday, but I still am fully on board with what's going on with Mr. Roop.
Okay. Jesus Tinoco is rising. Again, like, you don't want to look too much into these skills. It's 5 innings. The biggest number on this thing is the number 5 for 5 innings. So the skills haven't been good for Tinoco. He was better last year. So probably the primary in Miami. There's our guy. Fantrax managers are going for Gusto, up 5%.
He jumped over the lefty goat.
Home run Heaney?
Dude, 6 innings, 1 hit, no walks, no runs, 9 punch outs versus the Angels yesterday. He's been outstanding this year.
It's funny, in a lot of leagues, I either drafted Heaney late or picked him up just for his first start against Miami, and I have not dropped him ever since.
Yep. Ditto, my friend.
It works out that way sometimes. It will probably unravel at some point. This is Andrew Heaney, but it's been very good. And you can see in the skills here, 31 innings, 26% K, a great walk rate, and Sierra down at 3. It's really good skills.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I took the Gusto away from you.
No, I'm just so eager to make a Gusto pun, but we'll see if he sticks in the rotation. That's, I guess, the issue with Lance McCullers coming back. Can't believe it.
Not the name I expected to screw that up, but yes.
No. I don't know any other names. Craig Yoho's rising.
Yeah,
he's kind of like trendy amongst the prospect folks. I think it's going to be some time in redraft leagues for Craig Yoho.
Yeah, maybe I guess there's some time, but I'm not there. We pretty much hit on most of these guys. Like Andrew Abbott, we talked a lot about last week. Still believer if available. Cade Smith, we talked about. Fernando Cruz, we talked about. Shelby Miller's there, Canley's there, Liberatore. Like, yeah, we hit most of these guys. I guess we didn't talk about the Mets with the hip injury to Edwin Diaz.
That's true. Jeez, yeah, another team down there. That's a good point. We missed that.
Should we be looking at a Reed Garrett, or how would you approach the Mets situation? Because it's a day-to-day. It just happened. We haven't. They had the day off on Thursday, so we haven't gotten any reports from the Mets on that one.
Yeah, I have not looked into.
I think Ryan Stanek gets the go there, but I could be wrong.
Stanek does have some closer experience. Am I misremembering? But Reed Garrett got some. Well, he only got 4 saves last season. AJ Minter has some closing experience, pitching very well. But that's another one. I think it's almost like Diamondbacks-esque in that you're waiting for the incumbent to get hurt, and we don't know who the clear plan B is. So it's just tough to speculate in Queens.
Yep, I'm with you there as well. All right, you ready to talk some two-steps for the week?
Let's do it.
All right, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez, who's been sneaky good. The ERA is not the best, but everything else is, the indicators look good. Strikeouts have been really good. Walks have been much better for Erod at the Mets, at the Phillies, though.
Yeah, I guess the way Erod has been pitching, which is just crazy to say, but I'd probably roll with it and hold my nose.
Yep, I would do it as well. Like last night should have been a two-run outing, and it just unraveled in the 7th with 2 outs. So pitching really well. The A's, JP Sears at Texas, at Miami.
Yes, I think you roll with that. I like that. JP Sears hasn't pitched that bad. 15% K- walk, decent matchups.
JT Jen at Texas, at Miami.
God, that's beautiful, isn't it?
I do it. Yes,
I would do it.
I
Even
like
though
that better than Sears.
Even though we got it lit up by Texas this evening.
3 straight home runs.
3 straight home runs. One of which was Leody Taveras, so that should count double. But no, JT Ginn, I don't think I'm more pessimistic than most on JT Ginn, but even I'm starting him Texas Miami matchups.
Atlanta Braves, AJ Smith-Shawver at Colorado versus the Dodgers.
I don't think so. I can't do it yet.
Orioles, Sagano versus the Yankees versus KC. I'm not there.
I'm not there either. That Yankee start could be a bad start to your week.
Garrett Crochet at Toronto versus Minnesota. Yes.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. Shota Monaga at Pittsburgh, at Milwaukee. Yes. Cincinnati, Nick Martinez at home versus St. Louis, at home versus Washington. 2 great American starts for St. Louis and Washington.
Yeah, we just talked about last show about how Martinez hasn't been that great. I have Martinez in a bunch of 15s. I'm doing it.
Nope. That's a no for me, dog. I guess in a 15, you probably have to, actually. 12.
You don't have to. I mean, I just don't believe in St. Louis as like a good, I think that's a good matchup, even though St. Louis is
definitely one of the best offenses in all of baseball.
I know, but I don't think it's sustainable. So
yeah. Then Brady Singer versus St. Louis versus Washington. I actually would play Brady Singer. Yes.
Yep, I would for sure.
All right, Cleveland, Tanner Bybee versus Minnesota at Toronto. I still have to do it, but it's been rough, man.
You got to, but good Lord, 5% K to walk for Tanner Bybee. That is truly terrible. 8% swinging strike. That's really bad. But if you drafted Tanner Bybee for this 2-step, you didn't draft him for this 2-step, but in this 2-step, I think you have to do it.
Yep. And then Luis L. Ortiz versus Minnesota at Toronto. That's a no.
Yeah, that's a no.
Colorado, Herman Marquez at home versus Atlanta, at the Giants. No. White Sox, Bryce Wilson versus Milwaukee versus Houston. No.
Correct.
Detroit, Jack Flaherty at Houston, at the Angels. Yes.
Of course. Yep.
Reese Olson at Houston, at the Angels. Yes.
Reese Olson pitching well. I like it.
Really well. Cole Reagans, if healthy, at Tampa Bay, at Baltimore. Yes.
Just hope he's healthy.
Angels, Jack Kohanowitz at Seattle versus Detroit.
No, man, you can't go Kohanowitz. Never Kohanowitz is one of my many mottos in life.
I'll just stop. Marlins, Edward Cabrera at the Dodgers versus the A's. No.
Who?
Edward Cabrera at the Dodgers versus the A's. No.
No, you're not doing that. God, no, that's brutal.
Milwaukee, Freddie Peralta at the White Sox versus the Cubs. Yes. Minnesota, Bailey Ober at Cleveland, at Boston. Yes. What about Chris Paddock at Cleveland, at Boston?
I mean, if there's ever a time for Chris Paddock to turn it around, it's got to do it soon. This is not it. So I would not do Chris Paddock.
All right. Griffin Canning at Washington, at St. Louis.
Yes, I would. I
would too. David Peterson versus Arizona at St. Louis.
Arizona kind of strangely enough against lefties, not that hot this year. So I would in 15s look at Peterson. In 12s, I don't know.
In 12s, I'd even think about it if you want the shoot for the moon approach, but 15s definitely. We go down to Pittsburgh. Andrew Heaney versus the Cubs versus the Padres. Slide them up, baby.
Yeah, Cubs start scares me, but
At least it's in Pittsburgh. Giants, Logan Webb, you're doing that. St. Louis, Steven Matz at Cincinnati versus the Mets.
No, that's a no. That's a no.
Tampa Bay, Taj Bradley versus Kansas City at the Yankees. That's a tough one, man. It's been bad.
That's a tough one. I think you do it if you like Bradley, and obviously if you drafted him, you like him. So I would do it if you have him.
At 15s, I think you do it. 12s, I think you can probably find a better option. Texas, Patrick Corbin versus the A's versus Seattle.
Let's go. No, I'm not doing that.
What about the DeGrom? Yes, though.
Yes.
Bowden Francis versus Boston versus Cleveland. When is this going to actually blow up? Like, God, it's just happening.
Probably again. This week.
I hope so.
I'm not doing Bowden Francis.
No, he's still doing the luck box thing. It's crazy. And then Trevor Williams versus the Mets at Cincinnati.
Oh, God. No. God, no.
Yeah, God, no. God, no, indeed. But that'll do it, folks. Any final thoughts on the Week 6 FAAB coming up, Ryan? It's my list is not as long as weeks past.
We covered a lot. We covered, we covered a lot. Just keep tabs on that relief market, like I said at the top, and even I believe it more now after going through it. This could be a pretty important week if you need saves.
It could be a big week if you need saves. But yeah, and it's the best part's going to be is there's going to be a ton of specking on saves this week, like you mentioned at the top of the show. And then you have Nick Kurtz and you have Goose. There's going to be some serious cash getting thrown around this week. And I'm really hoping to be on the right side of some of it. I don't know if I'm going to be, but that's the plan on this one because it's going to be interesting, to say the least. But we'll keep you up to date here on all of this, of course, all the good stuff and much, much more. But until next time, follow Ryan on Twitter at RyanBHQ. Check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom and the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod. All should be 90% positive. I will be doing a playback on Friday evening, barring something coming up. So come and join us there at playback.tv/Bubba Bloom. We'll have that covered for you as well. And I'm on Twitter at BDentric. Until next time, this was Bubba the Bloom, episode 237. Catch y'all later.